Episode 82 today with my buddy Mac Fairbairn, the owner of Mr. Can Clean, former hooper and former bouncer in the nightclub scene in Vancouver. This was a funny talk, great stories. I hope you enjoy. Peace.
If I had been a garbage man when I was like 15, I would have been way better at basketball, sports, just like life, like just showing up. Like in my mind, what I thought like improvement was you get super hyped and then you like make this huge training program and then you like go like so hard every day and then you're like, and then I would just burn out. Whereas like with garbage, you just like, you show up at 7, you're picking up your first garbage can at 7:30, and it doesn't matter if you're like tired, you're sick, whatever, you're just there every single day, right? So when you start doing garbage, bro, like you obviously have your class 5, you drive around, maybe you have a better license, I don't know. But when you do the garbage truck, bro, they're like, yeah, here's the truck. Like you have your learners for this truck. When I lived downtown, bro, I'd like walk by like construction guys and I'd be like, oh, like, you know, like just as like a guy who's not involved with that, you're like scared of construction, where you're like intimidated by them.
Wait, why though?
Just because like it's so obvious that I know nothing about that, right? Like I feel like, not anymore, and it's like very simple stuff. Like you shouldn't be intimidated of like pipes.
Are you intimidated because you see them doing their job and you don't know nothing about it?
Yeah, probably, right?
Can't you say that about like any other job, like being a doctor or being a lawyer, right? Or
but they're not standing around on the street looking at you, right?
Yeah, I feel you.
But yeah, and then all of a sudden you're just like driving this truck. So like first day, bro, they're just like first time you drive, they're just like, yeah, just go up and drive. I was like, what the fuck? Like, are you serious? This is how it works?
Yeah.
I'm just
but
like,
then you have a route too, right? Like where you gotta go.
But it's not set up very well, right? So it's like when I started, you'd just be like doing this route, and it's like, I'm from North Van, bro, and it's like you don't know anything about North Van until you've like done every garbage route. Yeah. There's like, you're like, I didn't even know this existed, bro.
This fucking street, like, this little alleyway, fucking someone lives here.
Yeah, and then it's crazy, but it's like just that day in, day out. So like I always say this story, bro. Like, you remember the regional teams?
Yeah, I remember. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so you know Clay Crellin, right? Like Vancouver basketball legend, right? Crellin. Clay Crellin was on my regional team.
Okay.
It was like the first time I ever played basketball. Like I started playing in like grade 8. The only reason I kept playing was because I got cut from the team. Like I'd never played basketball. Right. And then they cut me. It was just like, what?
Yeah.
Like, and then the guys who made it were just like, yeah, I'm on the A team. I was like, fuck those guys, bro. So
and this is when I'm glad you say this, bro. This is when there wasn't that many teams. Yeah. So when you made a team, it was a big deal.
Bro,
right?
like
now there's so many fucking club teams.
Yeah.
Like every club team has like 5 different, like A, B, C, D, E team. Where it's like it's watered down, right?
Yeah,
back then there was only, I mean, in North Van, bro, it was 3D.
Yeah,
that's pretty much it. And then there was an A and B team. That's it. And maybe like a practice squad where dudes used to go, you know, just to prove themselves. But it meant way more, man.
Dude, you were top tier. Yeah, like even making the regional team, bro. Like shout out to Bradley O, right? Because like you remember Bradley O? He was a coach at Sutherland for a very long time. I think
Brad Thornhill,
Bradley O, baby.
Love
so,
that guy.
Dude, I think he played at Malaspina, like maybe as a walk-on, super gritty, he's tiny, right? But I tried out for the regional team, and I like my shot at the time to like explain my game. My coach was like, "Yeah, you should really work on your hook shot." So it was like the only move I had. I was just like, and it was like, what? Like knew nothing about basketball. I remember this one guy came in. And it was like a meme at the time to do like that bounce and then pick it up and do that like underhand finger roll. And I walked in for the regional tryouts. I saw that guy do that, and this guy sucked. He was horrible, right? But I saw him do that. I was like, oh my God, dude. Like, wow. Like just like so stylish, bro. I was like, damn, I'm not making this team. But then Bradley O was just like, yeah, you clearly suck, but like you really try hard. Like I was like a workhorse, right? So I made the team, and it was like Clay Crellin, it was me. Who else was on the team? Devin Haynes was on the team. Capilano legend Devin Haynes was on the team.
Okay.
Who else? There was I think my boy Reese Gavin got cut.
I remember that he's a North fan guy.
Yeah,
the
he was the point guard for Argyle with me. Light skin.
I see him walking up and down Lonsdale all the time.
Yeah, he's a legend, bro. That guy works hard, bro. Like,
and he was an athlete too.
Yeah, very good athlete. But anyways, man, like on this team. So to give you an example, like, so when I started playing basketball, I obviously had no idea how to play basketball. And so when you get, at the time in Canada, they would be like, here's the training regime. And they'd give you like this little sheet and it would like show the court. And then it's like, it had a line and then it would say 10, right? So you're supposed to write down your makes. So what I would do, bro, for like all day, I would just go and like in my lane and I would like shoot 10 shots and then I'd write down like 5.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, that's how you get good at basketball. You track, you shoot 10 shots and then you do 10 right pull up and then you go around again. That's like sick. I'm going to just do this all day, right? And then so Clay Crellin, who's on our team, he just rolls in. He has headphones. I don't think he took his headphones off the entire regional team, right? So, but he's just like in my head, it's like, oh, well, Clay Crellin is not shooting 10 shots from each of the spots around the horn. He's not going to get it good at all. Like, what's he doing? And he would just be in there dribbling, basically like shadow boxing, right? And headphones is actually so funny, bro. At the end of the season, I remember someone's like, hey, Clay, go tell Jake. And he's like, who's Jake?
Oh, man.
But that's just because he's locked in. He loves playing basketball and he just plays basketball all day. And like that's similar to garbage, bro, because like when you start, you just like consistently are doing this thing, right? And it's like obviously sometimes people will be like, hey, maybe you should not throw the garbage all over the road, right? Like, okay, cool. And then by the end, you just like form. Like I'm one of the sickest garbage men of all time. Like, I know. I was taught by like sick dudes like Terry, absolute legend, bro. This guy's like 40, sprinting beside the truck when he's swamping. And
he's dialed in. He's
dialed in
every morning into it. Like,
bro, dude, I was late one time. Dude. So Terry's like training me how to drive the trucks, right? I come in, I'm like, he wants you there at 6:30. He's like teaching you how to do a pre-trip, stuff like that. And he's like serious, right? He's very serious about it. Like garbage is an art, right? Dude, one time I came in, I just had massive diarrhea. I was like, I have to go take a dump, bro. So I'm like walking in and I like just take this huge shit. So like you get there at like 6:30. You're supposed to like be at you're supposed to be at the trucks at like 7, whatever. Terry wants me there earlier. He wants me to become a good garbage man. So this is like third day, bro. I like go out, I'm like taking shit. I come out, Terry's just like walking right. She's like, oh. He's like, there you are. And he's like, bro, we're like driving up to the run. He's just like, dude, I'm trying to teach you how to be a good garbage man. And you don't even, I was like, bro, I've been here. I was, dude, Terry's a legend, bro. So like Terry would like time where he is all day. So he'd be like, I remember one day I like forgot my lunch. I was like, bro, could we please drive back? Like, you dump off right by the yard. I was like, can we just please drive to the yard? And like, he's like, oh, no, we can't. We're going to be late. And then we did. He rolled back and he's just like so stressed the entire time. And then like he'd be like, God, now we're like 1 minute behind where we were yesterday. But dude, total legend. And it's like that type of like work ethic is like you need that in basketball. So if you show up every day, right, you're going to show up every day because it's your job. But then if you have something in you that's like, well, I don't want to be a bummy garbage man, right? So like there's this other guy, Alex, right? He is just like so sick, bro. You see this guy do garbage and you're just like, that is like beautiful, dude. Like spinnies, bro, just like spinning around the back. Oh, just like lifting. I would lift, bro. Like, yeah. And then, but at the same time, so it's like you have these people who want to like, who love doing garbage and are like hyped on it. And then you have guys who are like, no, I think we should take our breaks. And it's like, well, I signed up so I could like be at Third Beach at 1:30. And now you guys want to like slow roll so you can just like.
But bro, the way you're saying it, it's cool because you wouldn't think, being a garbage man is something that people would be like, oh, there's a passion for it. There's an art to it, right? Yeah. Which is cool to see because, then, because I personally never thought that. Like, okay, I felt like people that were, that did garbage were kind
of below me.
I'm kidding, bro. I mean, they were just like, come in, do your job, stick to the script.
Yeah.
There wasn't that much flair and pizzazz to it. It was just kind of like clock in, clock out. But the way you're saying it, it's like, dude, there's a fucking art to it. There's a fucking...
I think there used to be a like actual like Smith Bright like Western Canada garbage championships. I think there used to be that. That's like from what I heard. But like, exactly, bro. It's like, I mean, if you're doing something, it's like you might as well do it nice, right? It's like, for example, like one of my first days working, bro, I was with Big John. Shout out Big John. And we're picking up like organics, right? So in my head, I had that same, like, I hadn't been like proud of being a garbage man actually. So we're picking up in Lynn Valley Library, and it's like, we're picking up organics, right? So it's supposed to just be like organic waste. So we're right at the middle of Mountain and Lynn Valley. Okay. And in my head, I'm just like, oh my God, like Mrs. Mulder's gonna see me. She's gonna be so disappointed. It was supposed to be a writer. Oh my God. Now I'm picking up garbage. I'm like wearing this like vest, you know, it's like embarrassing. And so I'm like picking it up, and then it's like, and organics is always the worst truck, right? So I'm picking it up, it's like going up the lifter, and then I look in it, it's whole paper. I was like, oh no. So I like try to stop it. Bro, it falls off the lifter, lands, explodes, paper everywhere, bro. There's paper everywhere. I'm like, oh, my hands and knees picking it up, and I'm just like, Mrs. Mulder is watching too. This is so embarrassing, bro. Like everyone's watching, and then John just comes out, he's just like, oh yeah, we throw the paper in. Like, oh my God.
Dude, so I want to talk about, because you know, you just brought it up, right? Like there was that whole perspective and that narrative on, you know, when people in high school were like, oh well, do you want to be successful or do you want to be a garbage man? Yeah, like that was a thing. I remember. I remember, what movie was it? Like it was the Notorious B.I.G. movie. It was one of the very first scenes. The teacher's like, oh, are you gonna listen in class or are you gonna be a garbage man? And then B.I.G. was like, well, actually, you know, garbage people make 20.
Especially in New York, dog.
Yeah, fuck. You know, they make more than a teacher, right? So I'm really like, it's refreshing to see you like embrace it, you know, and you just say with your chest, like, yeah, that's what you did, and you grew to have a fucking passion for it, and now you have a business for it, right? Like, how did you, going into that field and getting into that job, how did you overcome that feeling of like you said, like, oh, Miss Mulder is going to see me, or this person's going to see me, they're going to think I'm lower than...
Well, I mean, it actually, like, I mean, that was just like that one time, and like when you see other people who are hyped on it and like have a passion for it, then it's like, I don't care what other people think, right? Like I'm enjoying doing this. And like in reality, bro, like that job is... Like we had people, my buddy Ty, he was an accountant, and then he's just like, screw this, bro. This is like not a high quality of life. And you look at like a garbage man, you get up early, you're basically just running all day. Well, if you're, you know, have passion for it. So you're running all day. You have like kids who are like hyped to see you, which is awesome, right? Like I still have like so many like cards and letters from kids, and it's like, when you were a kid, remember when you were in like grade 3 and it's like, what's your dream home, your dream bedroom, and there's like water slides in it and like, you know, shit like that. It's like, well, like be true to that person, right? Because like when you were a kid, you were like, damn, garbage is sick. Like you get hyped on the garbage truck, right? And then it's like, now you're like, oh, well, I can't buy a new pair of Jordans if I'm a garbage. It's like, screw that, right? But like at the end of the day is like, if you, and it's like, it's the same thing as basketball, because when I started playing basketball, bro, it was like no one was playing basketball. I played basketball almost because Sinclair Brown was my hero, right? Sinclair Brown played basketball. That's why I played basketball. But it's like, you'd go on like, you go on sports highlights, it would be like Sportsnet, and it would be like 17 hours straight of hockey, and then it would be 10 seconds of Don Taylor being like, oh, here we have Kobe Bryant doing the spinorama, you know? And then it's just like, okay, great. I've waited 45 minutes to watch that, you know? And so like watching ball in Canada, like when we were playing, bro, was totally different. Like we had that little slice of court cuts at 9 to 9:30, and that was like heaven, bro.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Just like the dirtiest highlights
I've
ever
it was
seen.
so
Just
sick.
Span of like
thank those
4
guys,
minutes.
man, because and so like even basketball growing up, people are like not hyped on it But it's totally different now, bro. Like if we had TikTok, I was watching, like I don't watch any basketball anymore, but I was watching like some BC high school ball came up. It's like, bro, these guys have like 5,000 likes on these videos. There's like highlight packages. And it's like we had Hoop Life, right?
Dude.
But Hoop Life was like, man, that was sick, bro. Like people, I don't think enough people know about hooplife.ca because that was absolutely vital for growing basketball.
Hoop Life, yeah.
In BC.
I mean, even my time, like I'm a bit after you too, right? And we had Hoop Mixtape, Ball is Life. I mean, that's all.
I remember Henry Beckerine. I got to tell you the story, bro.
Yeah.
Because Henry Beckerine was insane, bro. And he had that mixtape, his dunk contest at Cap. And he did a honey dip. And I think he did a windmill from the free throw line. And like, that was just like, I would watch that like over and over again, right? So anyways, I get to University of Saskatchewan. I'm a rookie, right? We also have Andrew Spagrid on our team. Okay. So Andrew Spagrid was just like NBA level athleticism, bro. He came in on our summer league. He was just like wearing like work boots. Like he just like came from work. And he just like, first thing he just put his shoes on. They're not even tied. He just stepped on the court, alley-oop, windmill off the backboard. Like for me to even like shoot a shot, I need to go and like practice like 50 Js. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just like this different tier of athleticism. So him and Beckerine, I think, had this little bit of a rivalry, right? Beckerine was at University of Calgary. And so obviously there's just like the territorial beef. And then I think they obviously like played against each other growing up. So in our game or warm-ups, it would just be like Beckerine throws like off the backboard dunks, Spags, like then he does like something else and they're just like competing, bro. It's like a dunk contest in our warm-up lines. So anyways, I'm so like super shook little rookie, whatever. I'm getting some playing time. I go in. I have Andrew Spagrid, who I play with, who obviously like he's like a hero to me. And then we have Henry Beckerine, who I grew up just like I would just be watching that. Like, oh my God, like this is the best thing, this Hoop Life mixtape. So fast break. Beckerine is defending the 2-on-1 versus me and Andrew Spagrid. I get the ball on the right side of half court. I'm just like, oh my God.
This is it.
Bro, but you know when you're like, when you're younger, you deflect to the veterans, right? So I'm like, well, I have to toss this to Andrew, right? So I'm like coming up, and then in that moment, I'm like, I can yam this right on Beckerine's head. I could yam this right on Beckerine's head. And then in that second, I was like, no, I better pass to Andrew Spagrid. And I grew up like, give me the ball, bro. I probably pass like once a game, you know, like you give me the ball, I'm just gonna shoot it, bro. Like, you know, like it's not my game. So I've never thrown an alley-oop in my life. I see Spagrid to my left. I just throw it, bro. It probably like grazed the roof. It was like the worst alley-oop of all time. And then Spag like tries to get it, just like fall. And I'm just like, fuck. And I think about that moment all the time. I'm just like, whatever you have, when you like think you should do something, just do it, bro. Like sometimes I'll just be like going to sleep. I'll be like, fuck, I should have yammed that out Beckerine, bro.
You knew you could too. Like that was it wasn't a doubt. Like if you got up, if you gathered, it was on his head.
Yeah, but then you're also just like, oh well, and like I think this is like a thing with like society too. You're like, oh, I shouldn't try to do this because then people will hate on me. And then it's like, well, fuck that, bro. Just dunk it on Beckerine's head. But he probably would have blocked me. He's pretty athletic.
It's crazy, man. Like you learned, dude, like just even that little anecdotal moment, like that taught you so much in life. Yeah, like that's dude, that's a lot of like looking back on ball, like people say that it's so cliche, like, oh, ball teach you so much about life, how to do this, how to do that. But it really does. Like if you look back, if you're a hooper and you look back in the moments you've had in a game or in practice, and you think to yourself, damn, like I should have done this a little bit differently, or shouldn't have worried about the guy that I'm going up against. Oh, this guy's a top 10. That's one thing I regret, man, was, do you remember BC Forum Hoops?
No.
Okay, so that was a little bit, so there was a site where anonymously coaches and people would talk about top 10, like rankings, who's this, who's that, who's the fucking, who's him, right? Yeah. And I swear to God, man, I was probably, out of like 200 lists, I was probably in like 2 of them.
Sick.
Just like, not even like a top 10, but like honorable mention.
Sick.
Dude. And every time I would like play against the guy that was like a top 10 guy, I'd be like, this motherfucker. And then sometimes I would take a step back and be a little bit intimidated from it. But then looking back now, man, I wish I just fucking said, fuck these people.
Yeah.
Because, man, when you're in it, when you're a kid in high school and you're playing, especially with ball, because there's so much shit talking, there's so much politics.
And there's so much hype.
So much hype, especially now, man. Like, I don't know how these kids do with all this TikTok bullshit, all this hate, all this talk. And it's one thing I still think about to this day.
Oh, that's true. I never thought about that part. Because, like, I would have been way too mentally weak to have handled, like, if someone was, like, shit talking me on TikTok. So I was thinking about this the other day, man. Like, I had for the company I started, Mr. Can Clean, we had this article in the North Shore News. And I was like, oh, man, I can't even read it, right? But, like, for basketball, we'd just be on Hoop Life, like, reading all our shit. So it's like, if I was at a young age and I'd be like reading that shit, that would have affected me like crazy, right?
Crazy, man. I mean,
like, yeah, like I still remember like Hoop Life comments, bro. Like, honestly, like, one of the best days, bro. One of the best feelings was we played. It's so funny because it like changes your perspective, right? We lost this game against GP Vanier. They had Calvin Westbrook and Nick Adair, and they beat us by like 50 points, bro. We're playing at Carson. It was horrible. It was one of the worst games. But then with like 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter, Calvin Westbrook gets the ball at half court. He's like going up to do a dunk. He was like a 6'2", he was a provincial team guy, low point guard. So he goes up to throw down a dunk. I'm at half court. That's my signature move, bro. It's like, if I'm at half court, you could be at the free throw line. You could be gathering. I'm going to pin that shit off the backboard, right?
Okay.
Calvin Westbrook goes up to dunk it. I slam that shit like off the backboard to half court. And it's like, we lost by 50 points in this tournament. And then I go, someone on Hoop Life was like, Mac Fairbairn had the biggest block in the history of I was like, yes.
Yeah. Well,
you know what I mean? So it's like, I can imagine like even just like seeing these kids, like, they're like, it's like, there used to be like threads, like who's the top 10 basketball players in BC, you know? But now that's like on TikTok, that's some other guy saying that. There's like 6,000 comments. Like Hoop Life was niche, but TikTok is like everyone, bro. So it's like,
I mean, anyone and then everyone can make an account.
But I think like Zoomers are a lot more mentally tough than we were.
You think so?
Big time, bro.
I don't know.
Yeah.
You think so?
I think so. Like, I think a lot of people will hate on them, but I think they're like working a lot harder. Like for me, I had this guy coming to do some welding, and he basically, I was like, how old are you? He's like 18. I was like, there's no way, bro. He looks like my age. Because I think I was like, there's no way.
He's been through some shit.
He has a job at C-SPAN, bro. Like, I was like, what? Like, dude, I didn't get my life together until I was about 30, dog.
Yeah.
So it's like still not that together. And it's like, these guys are like getting pension jobs at like 18. I'm like, what is going on, bro? So like, to me, like, I think it's like, we had like, when I was in elementary school, bro, my teachers were just like, the world is yours. And so like, you know, like I would just grow up and be like, well, it doesn't bother. I just don't really have to work very hard at it, right? Like the only reason I even played basketball is because I got cut. So like the only times that I've like really pursued something is if someone has like been aggressive, you know, like, so like even basketball, I'd like kind of chill. And then if someone like got in my grill, I'd be, oh yeah, let's fucking go, right?
Fucking go, yeah.
So I don't think like my generation at least hasn't had that much. Like we lived in this like halcyon era, bro. Like just this like time of, we lived on like the tail end of this like huge era of prosperity. And so my teacher's like, yo, what a great time to be a Canadian. Wow, what a great time to be alive. And then all of a sudden it's like, yeah, you guys are, so I'll take back a little bit of what I was saying. You guys are kind of fucked. Yeah. So now it's like, now I'm 30. Now I have to start dealing with this stuff. As opposed to, I think these kids are coming in. So for example, this welder, he's like, yeah, no, in high school, they're just like, yeah, you guys got to get your shit together right now.
They are more aware. They're more like aware of like their own, like even like their own attachment styles. You know what I'm saying? Like just like psychological shit that I didn't even know until a few years ago,
we weren't even
right?
exposed to stuff like that.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
yeah. Like they know their own attachment styles. They know they're more in tune with human psychology and just like conversation and shit like that. I will say that is true, man. I don't know.
I think why people don't like are like aren't like hyped on like people who would like shit talk a Zoomer, I think is like because like to be quite frank, they're just like buddy. So this one guy, shout out Baden, and he comes and helps me out on the trucks once in a while, right? Like with can clean. So we're like cleaning barbecues, and like so Baden will be like, yeah, for real, bro, like FR, and I'm just like what the fuck, bro? Like you're like you shouldn't be talking to me like that, dog. So I think like people get like sort of like shook that these guys don't really have fear of them. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like for me, if someone was on Hoop Life, I'd be like, oh my God, that's the guy. That's, you know what I mean? And I'd like have this respect for them, but they're just kind of, hey, what's up, dog? Hey, I want to come in and clean barbecues with you.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Okay. You know, it's like, I think that, so they're not as scared of like institutions or like, you know what I mean?
I 100% agree because, dude, I think they get so much shit thrown at them through TikTok, these podcast clips where they're like, oh, all these like little like fucking streamers, these little puck bags. Dude, these kids, oh my God.
And then they're grimy, right? So they don't give a fuck.
They don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I mean, they see these kids doing it, right? Like they do the utmost like disrespectful shit, and they're like, okay, so this is how it works, right? But like when they do it to like a guy like you or me, where we're older and we're cut from a different cloth in a different time, it's like, yo, okay, like shut up, like I'm gonna knock your ass out, like you know what I'm saying? So
exactly.
I think they're ballsy, more ballsy.
Yeah,
they go for it.
More ballsy, 100%, bro.
Because they think maybe they just think they can get away with it, or
I think they see the results, right? Like you can just see a guy who just blows up on TikTok, right? So it's like, for me, I would wait for someone to be like, hey, it's okay that you can do this. You can go, you should play basketball. I would have to wait for someone to tell me my dream where these guys go get it. And shout out to Baden, man. He crushed these barbecues. Like people were like, bro, like people were like, yeah, they don't work hard. They have no work ethic. I just say, keep looking. Baden's like, we have like a drill with a cup brush on it. He's just great, bro. Like the difference, it's like this grill is black. This one is like the color of this mic, bro. He crushed it. Yeah. Killing it. Yeah. that was actually something I wanted to say, bro. Cause like, do you remember the first time you met me?
It was through ball. It was through 3D. It was through mentorship, right? Or something like that.
No. The first time I ever met you, bro, was at Delbrook Gym. So I'm there, I'm shooting, and this relates to the image part that we're talking about, right? So I'm like just like shooting there, and then I see like little Mo in the corner, bro, just like the baggiest fit, like just like dribbling, and you sucked, right? You're just like banging shots off the rim, and I'm like, and I'm saying this as a compliment too, that you sucked, right? It'll give.
I know, yeah.
But then I'm just I'm dialed in, right? I'm just like hitting doing my 10 shots here, and then writing them down on the thing, you know? And so. And then you just, hey, you want to play 1-on-1? I'm like, no, I don't want to fucking play 1-on-1. You're how much younger than you?
I'm 28.
So you're 4 years younger than me.
4 years, yeah.
So I'm probably 16.
And I was probably fat as fuck too. I was not.
So I'm 16, and this little fat brown kid comes up, hey, you want to play 1-on-1 with me? I'm like, do you know who I am? I was on the provincial team. Someone said I had the biggest block in the history of basketball in British Columbia on Hoop Life. And you want to play 1-on-1 against me, dog? Yeah. And so eventually we did play 1-on-1, and I just smashed you, right? Yeah. And so like my perception was, it was just like, this kid's fucking annoying, but he sucks. His clothes are super baggy. And no, what's so funny though is, bro, like if you were to ask me like show me a group of 30 kids your age and be like, who would continue with ball and play ball, you would be the last person I picked to play collegiate sport. And you fucking did, bro. Yeah. Right? And so that's like such a testament to you in the fact that like, I definitely did not max out my athletic potential. Right? And it's like, because I didn't have that mentality that you have. Whereas like, I would shoot like 500-600 shots a day. But I was just sitting in my yard. It was a way for me, because like I have like an avoidant personality. And so it's just like, it was a way for me to like just have something to do, really. It wasn't like I was like pushing. Like if I was to go back, I would just be like, I would just go live at Kits. Right. Right. But
thank you, dude. I mean, fuck that. Yeah. That means a lot. And I think, I don't know, man. I mean, I feel like every hooper, we can look back on this shit, especially with ball and like sports. You could look back on things like, damn, I should have stretched more, should have had more water. I should have
Yeah.
jerked off before this game.
Yeah.
'Cause that's one thing I used to do.
How
a
about
lot.
eating fucking food 2 hours before a game?
Dude,
That's what they always told me.
Take my fucking diet seriously, man. I was always fat. I was always the thick kid, and I remember my buddy. Remember Luca?
Yeah, big time.
He's a
Legend.
Absolute,
The Serbian dragon.
absolute fucking just a renegade. Hey,
Yeah.
He said this to me once. He's like, Mo, you train all the time, you work out all the time. How are you still like fat? Like how are you still like a chunky ass dude? I'm like, buddy, listen, buddy, when you
Your
live
caloric, dude,
when
your
you
caloric intake
it was
be
just-
that young to be playing that much? Dude, what was your diet, dog?
bro, I remember dude, I was in a surplus every day. Dude, I remember for like a 6-month period, I would have a Kit Kat every lunch in high school, like one of those
Fuck yeah.
thick ones, dude.
Yeah.
The one where there's like 5 different bars, and I would just fucking whip that puppy out, and people would be like, "Oh yeah, Mo, got the Kit Kat," and then yeah, man, like I was on that wave for a while. Yeah, and man, it's just so many things. Like ball's crazy. It just like it fucking. It relates to so many things in life where you're like, damn, man, I should have taken this more seriously.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. I mean,
I shouldn't have played ball, bro. I remember reading this book called The Power of One. Have you ever read that? It's about the South African kid. We did it in grade 10, right? It's about the South African kid. He's white. He's a Boer, I guess you would call him. And he's just like this little kid. He gets bullied like crazy. So he starts boxing at his Catholic school. And he's just, all he wants to do is like throw an 18-punch combo, which is like, now I'm reading it, I'm like, that's pretty crazy, whatever. But so he does this and he becomes a boxer. And then through that, he learns about himself. That's the story, right? And so I was like, Mom, I'd like to do boxing. She's like, absolutely not, right? But you look at a guy like Tyler Kepke, bro. Tyler Kepke boxed before he played basketball, right? And so it teaches you how to use your body properly. I've never, maybe coaches now do, but I never had anyone be like, this is how you like do this. I had a couple of guys do it, but at the same time, I'm like, well, you're not Glenn Chu from 3D, so I'm not going to listen to you, right? But
I'm sure it made him more fearless too. I mean, it gave him a psycho mentality, just be a fucking
like,
killer.
100%. So like I've had like we did aprons for gloves when I was in the restaurant industry. So you just get all these people in the restaurant industry, right? And then it's like, you just throw them out there and they fight. So in that time, bro, like skipping, I'd never skip once in basketball. That should be all you do for cardio, skipping. Yeah. Skipping.
I mean, you were naturally athletic though. I mean, you had that.
Yeah.
I do remember you having a lot of bounce.
Yeah.
I'm thinking Mac. I remember thinking that as a kid. I mean, I didn't really know you that, but I knew athlete.
Yeah, I didn't know you, but I knew you got bounced.
Yeah. Dude, do you remember going to the gym once, that old William Griffin gym?
Yeah.
That we did do that once. That was a thing.
Really?
Yeah.
Tight.
Yeah.
Sick. Dude,
We
that
worked
old
out together, yeah.
Dude, that old William Griffin gym was by far the best gym in the history of
Greasy as hell.
They
old ass
ruined it.
equipment.
Yeah. They
It was
ruined it.
packed though every single time.
It was tight because you had all the squat racks, all the chicks were in the back on the bikes and in the yoga room. And then it was like, I would see like everyone. That was a great gym. 5 to 6 powerlifting stations.
right.
Like every, like hyper, like everything.
Yeah.
Everything was there. It was so
They had every machine. Yeah.
And it was like everyone from North Van was there.
Oh, dude.
Like now that's kind of Genesis, right? Like Genesis is kind of like that, but I don't, it's just doesn't hit the same.
No, God, no. And then there was the pool across. Dude, that pool was so fucking monumental.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
That's the one, dude. That's the one heartbreaking thing about North Van. Everything's changing. I mean, they're about to tear down fucking Harry Jerome, which is a fucking iconic spot.
It's crazy. And then it's kind of like filtered in with like, it just doesn't have the same capacity for emotional connection. Like you look at the current Delbrook, it's like I could never see anyone falling in love with that building. But like for me, like walking past Willie G skate park, like I grew up, it's that skate park, bro. I was there every single day. And then walking through that beautiful rose garden, you know, it's kind of like worn down. It feels like Dunderave. And then you walk into the gym, and then there's that lady. There's the same crew there all the time. Yeah. And you could smell the chlorine hitting. You could look into the pool, and it's like it was just like but now it's just like very like anodyne and like there's no like personality to anything that is new being made. And I feel like because you've got to connect to so many different people. So like, for example, like when I was growing up, we had like one Indian kid in the class, and this is North Van, right? Like one Korean guy, one Chinese guy, and then the 27 other people were white, right? So it's like when you're like making if you were like selling clothes, I'd be like, hey, there's an American Apparel sale, right? But so it's like now today you'd like, it's like, you know what I mean? It's like there's so many different cultures in Canada now. You can't appease them all, but you can only appease such a wide group of people by being generic. So you look at housing today, especially, it's very generic because you have to be able to sell it to everyone, right? So because what you're saying is because there's so many different types of like Gangstar, baby, mass appeal, right? Like you've got to have mass appeal.
Dude, I remember Ed Hardy was the shit.
Dude.
For the Persian Boys. Back in grade with the V-neck with the fucking doused in cologne. Yeah. Oh man.
Bro, remember going into a locker room in North Van in like 2002 and just that smell of Axe, bro?
Axe was the shit,
Axe,
man.
I would still rock Axe, but for me, I have such a strong connection to dude, I totally forget the name of it. What is it? But like, you know, those blue with the little beads in it, and then it's like liquid, the deodorant. Dude, yeah, you can see that. But that smell, bro, just reminds me of like, it was like the first time I ever wore deodorant. It's like, I was like, yes, you gotta start wearing deodorant.
Yeah.
And it just, that smell, so crisp, summertime. It just, as soon as I smell, I still wear it, bro.
Man, I remember like that was the advertisements for Axe were like, if you put it on, you'll get bitches, like chicks, and like you would walk into. I remember I got my first Axe. This is grade 8, Balmoral.
Yeah, dude.
I walk in just all fucking potent, just walking around with my chest out, looking at, yo, Megan, what's up? How you doing? I'm just like getting obnoxiously close to her. She's like getting a compliment from one chick. Oh, you smell good. Yeah, man. What a time, man. Like I reminisce so much back on high school and just being a young kid. It's just everything's. Do you think though, like with, you know, the feeling of, you know, like the feeling you're talking about, how like you don't have that connection with the culture in North Van anymore. Do you think it's just because we're getting older and like younger kids that are 13, 12?
They
11,
probably will.
They probably are.
Yeah.
You know, they're having those feelings right now, and then in 20 years you're gonna be like, oh fuck, well,
Delbert used to be so cool and they ruined it. Yeah, exactly, bro. It's like,
it is different though. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna give it up that easily, bro. Like there is a difference. Our time was
absolutely. Even just like you definitely lose your capacity for like magical thinking, right? So when you're younger, you're like, oh wow, I'm going to William Griffith. You know, you have that. It seems so real and crazy. And even, to be quite frank, you look at Delbert Gym, where we played, it was a shithole, right?
Oh yeah. Did
you ever go to Dan Masisco's camps there, bro?
I never did.
Oh, they were brutal. I remember. So I would have played basketball a lot earlier. Dan Masisco is kind of a North Van legend. I won't say anything. He was a very high energy guy, and I was very shy. Like I would just read books, bro. Just like sit by myself and read books.
Oh yeah,
yeah. That's all I would do.
I wouldn't see you as a book reader.
A massive reader, bro. Like Haruki Murakami, Roberto Bolaño. Those are my guys, dude. Like if you've never read Haruki Murakami, you better, dog. Haruki Murakami is so crazy. So he takes these very simple stories. He's Japanese. Takes these very simple stories. It'll be like one of his best books is just this guy who just keeps his wife keeps just like leaving him alone in long periods of time. He's recently become unemployed, so this cat starts walking through. He keeps following the cat, and then it's just like a novel about this. And it's
just so sick though.
Yeah. And then Bolaño, bro, has this book called 2666. It's about like a town on the border of Mexico and the U.S. Okay, so there's this guy. There's these two professors of the school talking to each other. And this relates to like TikTok, like all this stuff, Instagram. You know how Instagram's kind of fading away and now it's TikTok. And so there's these two professors and they're talking together and he's like, let me tell you, I will tell you what media is. Media is this big cave. Over here you have the radio stars of the 1920s. And then it's a big auditorium. Everyone's lined up. They're all listening. And then all of a sudden, the stage over here starts flickering. And then a TV comes on. And everyone's like, oh, fuck this radio shit, dog. They start watching the TV.
Yeah.
And so there's still a couple of guys like us who like love William Griffin. Oh, we liked William Griffin. And then everyone's like, fuck, Delbert has blends, bro. So now everyone's watching the TV.
Yeah.
And then, oh, the phone. And that's it, bro. I'm not even kidding. This is a run-on sentence for maybe 10 pages, it seems like. And he's a beautiful writer. He was a poet, but he had a child, so he had to sell novels to make money. So beautiful writing. And so this goes on for 10, 15 pages. And I swear, it may not be, but I swear it's a run-on sentence. One complete sentence. And then so you're reading this, you're getting so into it. You're like, wow, that makes so... And he's just like, never mind, I'm fucking drunk. Dude, I couldn't stop laughing, bro.
Fuck. I mean, he's ahead of his time, man. Like,
yeah, so Boyano, Murakami, but then also, bro, like literature has such like a great potential to impact your life positively. But I remember, so when I was growing up, like Hunter S. Thompson was super popular, and also like Charles Bukowski. So I started writing for the Capitol Courier, and everyone's like, oh yeah, Bukowski, like all these like very degenerate people. So I remember I used to be such an athlete. And then I would like reading Bukowski, and his poems are just like, finish work, pick up a 6-pack, crack the first beer, wiggle my toe, crack the next. And it's just like Hunter S. Thompson, similar, just drugs. So I'm reading these people, and like as a writer, I'm influenced by these people. But then I remember it just like being like 20 and then being just like, well, I can go purchase alcohol. And I just like bought a 6-pack, and I'm just sitting, you know, that little park by Edgemont Village with the little train in it. And I was just sitting there just drinking a 6-pack because like my heroes, so whereas my basketball heroes are like, you know, go do something positive with your life. But all these guys who are very influential are like, yeah, be a degenerate.
Yeah, especially Bukowski.
Yeah, fuck Bukowski, man.
Dude, he almost fucking encouraged drinking.
Yeah, no, right? Almost encouraged.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Dude, didn't he write a quote, have a quote where he's like, you know, every time I got drunk, every time I got fucked up the next day, it was like I relived, like I was reborn. So I've been reborn like 10,000 times.
So yeah, think about the continuity that we're talking about, right? So then I have alcohol introduced to my life, and then you wake up with a hangover. You can't remember, you know, you lose some of your stuff from the next day, whereas like continuity. So for example, when I'm starting this business, you need to keep this chain of continuity, like same with training basketball, starting a business, doing everything. So you, for example, like if you guys were doing this podcast and then you took a 6-month break, it's going to mess it up. But like, so when I do like door to door, have you guys done that?
Oh yeah. Yeah. We've gone a few months without it.
So it's like, before I go to sleep, I'll try to remember everyone that I name or that I met that day, like Kobe, bro. Like, so I was seeing this guy. I'm doing a lot of door to door for this right now. People don't want someone to come and knock to the door. Sometimes they're pissed, right? But I was doing, shout out Chen's Automotive, bro. Chen, I would pick up his garbage in the front load truck, and he was just like a G down in Pemberton, runs an automotive shop. His son, I'm not going to say his son's name, but very cool name. So I always remembered it. So I go and see Chen, and you know, he usually sees me as a garbage man, right? And so I'm like, hey, Chen, what up? I'm in my Mr. Can Clean truck, and he's just like, oh, hi. And like, he's not hyped on it. And then the car opens up and his son gets out. I'm like, yo. And I say, and then he's like, oh, you know? And so like remembering people's names is such like an important thing to me, right? Like Kobe has a story where Kobe would go to the gym like in LA Fitness, and you'd like remember these dudes' names. And that's like Kobe Bryant remembering some guy. Like that's so cool. And so like with Mr. Can Clean, like I realized that like during garbage, it's such a small thing on the day-to-day, right? But that has such an impact. That has such a potential to impact people's day negatively, right? So there's all these rules, right? You have to have your clips unlocked for the garbage man to open it. You can't, you know, have organics in the garbage, things like this. There's rules like this. The handle's got to be facing a certain way. So if you're a pissed off garbage man, you could probably tag 85% of the garbage in North, like a large amount. You could be like, sorry, this. Oh, sorry, this. leave it behind, right? So then you leave that garbage behind. Say the husband took it out in the morning. Wife comes home. She's like, Earl, you fuck. The garbage wasn't picked up.
Yeah.
So now they're bickering.
Yeah, okay.
And that spreads, right?
It spreads. It trickles.
But
around,
it's just like picking up your garbage, bro, right? So when I was a garbage man, and now that I'm not a garbage man, I can say whatever I like about it, dog. I would take everything, bro. I don't care because I want those people to be stoked, dude. Like, hey, you got extra shit? Absolutely. Oh, you didn't unlock your clips? I don't care. Oh, hey, you did something nice for me? I'm running your cans all the way back to your garage for you, right? Because like that's such an opportunity to turn something that is like at best neutral, but could also be so negative. Like people like yelling at you, my garbage didn't get picked up. And then it's like, if you have 10 people and you do something positive for them, maybe one person would call in and be like, hey, I just wanted to say thank you about that garbage man. He was so nice to me. But if you have 10 people, you do something negative for them, 9 people are going to call and be like, this motherfucker didn't take my garbage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like people are way more willing to attack negativity.
Yeah.
So
for your business, it's more than just actually doing the cleaning and all of that. You're connecting on a different level at this point.
Big time. And that's the biggest thing I missed on garbage was just like, you have this route, you know all these different people. Bro, I'll tell you the story, bro. During COVID, there was this little girl. So you come up, we pick up their garbage. And then the kids are always at home at this time, right? So there's this little girl I notice every week. She's in the window waving. Yeah. So I obviously got to go take the garbage cans back to her house and say, hey, how are you doing? So, and then the next week we come by, she wrote like, hi, Mac. She actually wrote Matt. And I was like, come on, Mac. So then, what are you, 4?
What are you, just a kid?
So then we just started like every time I'd pick up her garbage, I would say hi, run her cans back. And then it got to the point they're like lowering like cards to me, like oh, thank you, bro. Man. Like Chloe comes with her mom my birthday, comes over, brings me a birthday present. Like she recently just her birthday, happy birthday, Chloe. And it's like that's such like a positive thing, right? But like for like the managerial aspect, they're like, oh, you can't treat one person better than the other. You can't do this. You can't do it, bro. Like they were like,
just do your job. Get in and out. Clock in, clock out.
And I can see that. Like as like a, I hesitate to call myself a business owner at this point, right?
Yeah.
But like, I can see that where it's like, hey, I would just like a guy who comes in and he cleans the cans and that's all he does, right? But it's like, North Van is like a special place, bro. And I feel there's like a lot of people who are moving here who don't understand that it's special. But like, guys like us need to protect the integrity of the North Shore. And it's like, we have never been to a council meeting. We've never like set a complaint. Willie G got destroyed, but we were like, hey, protect it. It's like, that's where I learned how to bench press. Like, we didn't input anything into this decision. We kind of just there's counselors. One of my big beefs, going up 29th, bro.
29th,
29th Hill. Yeah, I know because I would drive to Argyle, bro. I'd be, dude.
Where's 29th? I'm so.
So you're at Lonsdale and Queens.
Got you.
Gas station's here, and then you turn left to go to Linda. It's a big hill.
Got you.
So on that hill, the hill, to put it in, okay, can I see myself? Yeah, the hill's about that steep, right?
Yeah.
It's very steep.
Oh yeah, that's a fucking brutal one.
Yeah. So what they did is they put a bike lane in on both sides of it. Right?
Yeah.
So there's a bike lane on both sides. My sister's dad lives at the bottom of that hill. So we, for example, went over there for my sister's birthday recently. You can't park anywhere on the street because there's a bike lane. So this guy, my sister's dad, would go out there and just sit there and count how many bikes. No bikes go by. There's 0 bikes that go by because no one's going to ride up a 45-degree incline to go cycling. Like, North Van is not a place for, like, I understand the concept of, like, yeah, you got a bike lane, blah, blah, this is good. Maybe, okay, yeah, maybe in Amsterdam. If you've walked around North Van for any period of time, the only people using bicycles as transportation are people who are avid cyclists. There's no one, like, maybe in the summer, but even then it's like, what are you going to do, cycle? You think my girlfriend's going to be like, hey, Kelly, I have this really great idea for a date. We're going to bicycle to the Lynn headwaters. She'd be like, get the fuck out of here. I'm not bicycling for 65 minutes to sit in a forest. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, I get the idea, but it's like North Van. So none of these people on 29th have parking. And I recently saw a guy biking there. So that was the first time I've ever seen. So not only that, it's like the cost of doing this, right? What I want to do, bro, is I was walking behind William Griffin, okay?
Okay.
Do you know that lacrosse box that sits there?
Yes.
Okay, so Mosquito Creek used to be a place where there was runs at that court. They're done. No one plays ball there. I go shoot around once in a while if I feel like it.
Right.
No one else there. This lacrosse box, though, you walk up. It's right behind William Griffin. It's in the forest. It's surrounded by forest.
What was once William Griffin?
What was, yes.
Okay,
was
back then.
Willie
Okay,
G.
okay.
It's this beaten down lacrosse box. It's in the middle of the forest. There's boxes. There's seating behind it.
Yeah.
But it's just disintegrating, bro. I was walking there with my dog. I just look at him like, how sick would that be? You just turn the corner down this forest trail, and there's a huge parking lot right there. You turn, you look, 2 courts, glass breakaway rims, same lacrosse box idea, and it's right next to Delbrook. How sick would that be, bro? Like lighting. It's just a disintegrating lacrosse box. You could have two full-size courts there.
Yeah.
No problem. And then you could throw tournaments there in the summer because, like, that's what you need. What we were talking about earlier is, like, I would just use basketball as a way to, like, I'll just go shoot shots and just be alone, right?
Yeah, you know, though, man, I hear you, but I don't even think, like, if you added that court or you got some, like, high-level fucking, you know, investment into, like, this, like, sick-ass court with glass hoops and breakaway rims, I don't even think kids would. It's a matter of these kids just wanting to do it. I mean, bro, like, back when we were, like, back in high school, like, I always bring it back to my time, and it's just, we wanted to go out and play. Like, bro, like, that was the thing Friday night, 6 to 8 Delbrook, 7 to 10 John Braithwaite. Like, that was the thing. Like, if we wanted to make it happen, we would go to, like, the dingiest fucking half court in North Van and get a run in and be savages all day. These kids I don't think they have that in them anymore, man. I think it's just, you know, there's just these, like, summer camps they go to, these personal training things. And not to say I didn't do that, I did, but I don't think that there's that grit and that greasiness anymore of just, there's like, not. Simon was talking shit all week. I'm gonna see his ass on fucking Friday. I'm gonna run his shit.
Still like scrap at school?
No, dude. I mean, here's the thing, dude. I went to provincials.
I got in a fight with 15-year-old.
I just
beat the shit out of
dude. I mean, I went to provincials recently, high school provincials, and like there's you know, there's a team that I coach a bunch of the kids from North Shore, right? Yeah. They're in West Van. Yeah. And I was there watching the...
Oh, shout out Cash, bro. That kid has hops, dog.
I know, dude.
Yeah.
He's getting up.
Yeah, that kid's a legend.
Yeah. Funny guy. Yeah. Fuck, that kid pissed me off at sometimes. But he's growing up now. I fuck with Cash now.
Yeah, he's a legend.
Man, one thing I noticed, and this is... I'm not wrong about this. Yeah. I know I'm not fucking wrong about this. But I noticed kids when they're playing, like I watched a few other games... There's no more shit talking, man. There's no more like in your face. Like, bro, I remember one play exactly. This one kid like locked this kid up and he was like getting after it. After he locked him up, he was just kind of like, just ran. Bro, back in our day, we would be like, yeah, motherfucker, you ain't shit. Like, dude, saying some, do that. Yeah, like talking shit the whole game. Yeah. Dude, I was chirping this one kid. I'm a fucking grown ass man chirping a fucking 17, 16-year-old because West Van was playing this team called Spectrum. Dude, I was chirping this kid the whole game. Like, I was in his nightmares that night. I swear to God, even though Spectrum did beat West Van, bro. And I was right there. Like, he could hear me. I knew he could hear me. He looked at me. He glanced at me like this motherfucker. And I was giving it to him. Like, I was ready. And looking back on it, I'm like, God damn it, man. Like, I'm kind of down bad. I'm a 28-year-old dude just going out of 16 years.
You're
passionate, right? But that part of me came out. That identity that I had. Bro, and then he hit a big shot. He hit a big three. Dude, if that was me, I would be looking at me and be like, fuck you. Like fucking jerking, like doing like some nasty shit, like saying some offside shit, but this kid just kind of like ran back. And I think that edge of just competing, like it sounds cliche, you know, but it really, I really do see it where it's like, it's tame now.
Yeah.
It's tamed down. It's watered down.
But I think, so for me personally, I totally agree. That was serious business playing basketball, right? Like you'd be fighting people. Like I would be fighting people. It was serious. It was intense. It meant a lot. But also at the same time, it's like I have guys. So for example, we played Pine Ridge, right? So there's this guy named Anitom Brage, right? And he was like kind of, you'd see him on Hoop Play. He's like, oh, #1 player. And I was like, fuck this guy. We played him. And they fucked us up. Like Anitom fucked us up. But he had this like breakaway dunk. He goes up to dunk and he misses it. Everyone's just like, you fucking, bro. I held that grudge against like just being like, he beat us. Like I was like, fuck that guy. He's a great guy. He's an awesome guy. Like I saw him at the club. He's an awesome guy. We like chit chat, right? And like I feel like because like a lot of these people who I'd compete against, I would like hold these like serious feelings against him. I'd be like, fuck that guy. Like, you know?
Yeah.
Whereas I wish it was like this. I like still maintain contact with a lot of these people, like hung out with them. Like it's like such a great, you look at the community in basketball community in BC, right?
It's a little frat.
So
man.
I think what we need to do is take like a little bit of the Zoomer where it's like you're not gonna like not speak to this person for like 5 years, and then a little bit of us, and that would be like the perfect basketball player.
Because it's a little too much on the, hey buddy.
Like, yeah, it should be like rugby, bro. I remember this, bro. I remember playing rugby, and this guy was just like, when you're tall and a little guy goes at you, that's like, fuck that guy, right? I'm way bigger than you, dog. So like he's going at me, and so we get in a scrum. He just full on grabbed my balls, bro. So I'm like, he just goes like this, squeeze. I was like, fuck you, dog. And then just get up. He's on the ground. I punch him right in the side of the head like that.
Yeah.
He gets up. We like throw each other on the ground. And then this is like close to the end of the game. And then I score a try, like push him. Like, fuck you. And then it's like the game, and you like do the handshake. He's like, oh, great game. That was so much fun.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, and it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And that's like rugby, right? Like rugby dudes are just like going to fight each other and then be like, oh, I really liked your punches today.
Yeah, I really liked how you.
But basketball, dude, I
up.
feel like basketball guys, like personally for me, it was like, oh, I got nice Jordans on. Oh, I like dress nice. And I would like look down on other people. Like I feel like basketball is a little, because basketball is not just a sport, it's a culture, right? And that's what really appealed to me, is that I was like a pretty lonely kid. And then all of a sudden you got like this like like me and my boy would like go in and like read about the Raptors. We'd have Real GM all day at lunch. You know, it was like this culture that you felt a part of. So it's like, it's really not just sport, but like, I don't like, hockey might have that a little bit with like mullets and shit, but like basketball is like a culture, bro.
Yeah,
right.
The way you
like,
talk, the way you carry yourself, the music you listen to, for God's sake.
100%,
you know what I'm saying,
bro.
Like,
yeah.
Dude, I wanna get into this. It's so funny. Okay, you had a stint as a bouncer at the club scene, you know, and one of my things is, man, I hate the club scene here, dude.
Yeah, it's not good.
I can't stand it. I can't stand the people that go to it. I can't stand. Well, for one, every time I do go out now, I feel like I'm the oldest fucking guy in the room, and I just feel out of place, dude. Like visibly uncomfortable. Like I know people look at me and they're like, "This guy is like about to have a fucking brain aneurysm."
I don't think so, though, man.
What do you mean?
Like, so when I would go to the club when I was like a young man, I would just like, no one teaches you how to go to the club, right? Yeah. So I would just like stand there and be like, like this. Like, why is no one talking to me? You know, like, it's like, there's like, no one teaches you how to drink either, right? But now it's like, I don't think anyone really cares, bro. But like, just the club scene in general is just like, you come into like, I met my current girlfriend through that club, but the only reason it went anywhere is because I had no expectations for her, because I thought she was a club girl. Right? So it's like normally in a relationship, you're like, oh, like you sort of like pedestalize people, you know, put them up there, and it's like, oh, you're not actually acting the way that I had this image of you in my head.
Right.
You know, and there's some cognitive dissonance there, right? But
your girl, that's a rare case, right? because when you say club girl, there's a reason why there
But
is
I think
that
there's
term.
a difference. There's a difference, right? So it's like the majority of people who go to clubs aren't like that. But it's like, I think we see like that one chick on Instagram who was like 10K followers who's going up to all the bouncers being like, oh, hi. Like, dude, the amount of times, like, so when I was working there, bro, when I was in Vietnam, I like deleted my Instagram.
Okay.
Had like 1,000 followers. I had Instagram since like 2014, like, or whenever it came out. I was like one of the first people to have it, just because like Misk, the bodybuilding forum, you just get Instagram and just like troll people. So I was like one of the first people that I would just be like leaving messages with, like, you know, like I would drag my feet through broken glass just to have a chance to smell your, you know, shit like that. Yeah. So like that Instagram meant a lot to me, bro. You think about all these connections you have, all these people you've met through all your life. That's on your Instagram. People you probably wouldn't talk to, but maybe if you post a story being like, hey, I'm going to do this, they'd be like, oh, hype for you, right? I deleted that. So when I started at working at Mansion, I was like, fuck, dude, I got to get that. Like, I got to get that back up. So I did. I would do I'd be like, add me on Instagram. So it went back up. And also having like 300 followers on Instagram, that's embarrassing, bro. It's just like, you know, like, no offense to anyone. But it's just like,
I mean, it is a thing.
It shows
man.
that you're someone without connection, right? Like, you don't have, like, you could put something out today and you just need that connection, and it's good, right? So
Right.
I would rock everyone on Instagram, bro.
Right.
But yeah, like,
and so like, what was some of the shit like, man? Like you think of, for me, I don't know if I should. I sort of, well, I did end it with this girl I was seeing, because one of the things, it's a red flag for a girl to go out every weekend.
big time, bro.
Just to clarify, the thing is, she was younger, okay? She was 23. I'm not going to sit here and act all self-righteous and say I didn't go out every fucking weekend when I was 21, 22, 23.
Yeah.
Like, I was that guy. I was a wild card, right? And like, I get it. Like, especially when you're like 23 or 24-year-olds right now, they have to go through COVID. She had some personal shit she was dealing with in regards to going out. And so I got it. I understood why she was going out, right? And like, at no point did I ever feel like I was above the whole thing of going out. I just told her, like, listen, I'm out of that phase. Like, I can't, especially in Vancouver, I can't do it. I really can't.
Yeah.
Like, if I go somewhere else, 100%, I'm going ballistic 3-4 days in a row. You know what I'm saying? I'm going all out, right? And so the thing with me, and I girls don't understand it when I say, like, it is a red flag in the sense that even though I can trust you not to do anything with a guy, let's say you go out 100 times and you don't do anything with a guy, you never make out with a guy, you never touch a guy, whatever. But just the thought of a guy, because I was that guy, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was that guy to look at a girl and be, damn, someone needs to approach. Dude, you going, someone needs to go right now. So for me, mentally, in my subconscious, knowing that my girl is going to be going out looking good and some cuckbag is going to be like, oh, dude, oh, fuck, like that chick is, like, she's looking good. Dude, just go up to her and, like, say what's up. Go ask her for a drink. Ask her whatever. Just the thought of a guy, I know guys that do that, and that's going to happen inevitably, like, not a doubt in my mind. That shit bothers me. And the fact that the girl knows that that's going to happen. Like, they always act like, oh, I'm just going to go out with my friends and have a good time. Sure, but you also know you're putting yourself in a position for guys to come up to you and do that. And don't lie to yourself, because you know you love the attention. You know you like that. You know, even though you're not going to do anything about it, you like that because that's the currency that you're really into, that attention. I mean, it fucking feels good. I mean, dude, if a girl comes up to me and says, oh, you're really good looking. Oh, you seem like you have a big fucking cock. Obviously, you're going to be like, oh, hell yeah, dude. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. That means a lot. What's your name?
That. I'm very unsexualized, like, in the terms of, like, I would just see it so uncomfortable, bro. Like, I remember, like, in grade 7s, they were like, yeah, this girl, we went to the trip and she gave someone a blow. I was like, oh my God, that's so, like, I was just like very like very like innocent. Like,
what are your thoughts, man? Like, being in the scene, being in that, like, what are some things you've learned with some crazy stories? I need it all.
So well, let's just talk about red flags, bro. So I was like, here's a red flag. If a girl says that she's your girlfriend. So I'm like, I'm at mansion. I come in. My routine is I get there, like I have a shower, crush a beer, and then I get a call on the radio. And it's like, J-Lav is like, yeah, Mac, your girlfriend's here. I was like, well, this is news to me, right? Like, I don't have a girlfriend, so I'm like a little shook. I'm like, okay, like, who is it? And she's like, I was like, just tell her I'll be out there in like 10 minutes. I gotta put some shit in my hair. So I get outside, and it's this girl who like maybe 3 months ago had come to the club, right? And we just like chilled, we talked. Shout out DLP. DLP was trying to wheel all these girls. So we're up on like the VIP. Dylan's like, you know, flirting with them, whatever. It's a good time. Okay, great. Well, I haven't seen you in 2 months, right? Like maybe we talked a little bit. I don't know.
Wait, so this is your ex-girlfriend or your girlfriend?
So the one time I've met this girl, me and my buddy Dylan are just like talking to them. One of the girls like Dylan, so I come in and then I'm talking to this other girl. That's the extent of our relationship.
Okay.
2 months later, hey Mac, your girlfriend's outside. So I go out. I'm like, you know, you're expecting to see certain people. You're like, oh, like, is it like a guy? Like, you know, like, is it a joke? Like, you know what I mean? So I get outside. It's this girl. I was like, oh, okay, like, cool. Like, what's up? She's hammered, bro. She's Brazilian. Mm-hmm. She's like, like slurring and shit. I'm just like, oh God, like, you know, like I'm just like, sorry. Anyways, I'm like, she's like, yeah, we're just downstairs. I'm like, oh, okay, great. Like, well, cool. Like, and then, but you know, like that's a red flag, right? Like just that, like being drunk, saying some random bouncer you've never met as your boyfriend, being outside someone else's work, hammered. Like those are all 3 red flags, bro. So anyways, I'm just like, whatever. She was like, yeah, we'll go on a date. Yeah, we'll go on a date. So we go on a date, bro.
Yeah.
It's like a Tuesday. We go to Commercial Drive and we go to Fats. We're grabbing like a whiskey. Like I got to work the next morning, right? So I have a whiskey. I'm drinking the whiskey. And then she's like, we have to go to the burlesque show. I'm like, the tickets are like $100. I'm like, well, this is like unexpected, but like, okay, I guess, like whatever. We go in, bro. She just starts slamming wine. She's like, like, it's like there's pictures of sangria on special. She's like crushed too. Like I've had a couple glasses. She's like crushed. She's fucking, by the end of this burlesque show, which is fantastic, by the way. The burlesque show was great. I'm uncomfortable with burlesque. This was cool. I highly recommend it. She's hammered, bro. She's like, it's one of those chicks where everyone in the room is like, oh, that chick, you know?
Oh, no.
Everyone knows. She's drawn attention to herself. She's like, oh, this is the honor. Oh, we are best friends. I'm just like, this is crazy. So then she's like, I'm toning it down because she's toning it up. So I'm just like, not drinking anymore. I'm just like, whatever. So she's like, yeah, let's go home. Let's go to your house. I'm like, okay, cool. It's a work day. I should go to sleep pretty early, but I mean, you want to bang, right? So
yeah.
We get back to my house. I have my little puppy, right? Carmela Soprano. So I have my little puppy. She's just like, oh, the little puppy, she is mine. She's like, I was like, please don't touch my dog like that. Stop it. She's like, no, she loves me. So she's like picking up Carmela upside down. It's like, no, stop doing that. She's like, no, the dog loves me. And I'm like, don't do that again. She picks it up again, rolls it over. Carmela throws up all over her head, bro. Carmela, her head is dripping vomit down her head. Fuck yeah, dude. So then it's like 12. I'm like, listen, I gotta wake up at like 6. I need to go to sleep. So she was like, she would like make out with me, and then she'd be like, no, I cannot. I was like, okay, well, like, okay, I'm gonna go brush my teeth. So then I was like, I'm done. I'm gonna go brush my teeth. So we're brushing my teeth, and she comes up. She's like, oh, making out with me, and I'm like, okay, listen. We're either we're not playing these little games anymore. I'm either gonna go to sleep, or there's an ultimatum here, right? She's like, okay. So I get it, and then eventually I'm just like, okay, listen, like this happens like a few more times, like making, oh yes, and then I'm just like, okay, listen, this is over. Like, I'm going to sleep. She's like, what? You're going to sleep? Fuck you. She picks up all these posters on my wall, starts ripping them off my wall. Oh. I'm just like, what the fuck? And then I love vaping, right? So I'm like this. She goes like this, rips my fucking vape out of my mouth, which is like, that can hurt someone, bro. Like, go like that.
Yeah.
Pushes my teeth up. I'm like, okay, you're fucking out of my house. So get the fuck out of my house. You're done. This is over. Get the fuck out. Oh, I forgot to mention that, like, I had to drive home. Dude, we're in Commercial Drive. She gets in her car. I'm like, you can't drive. She's like, don't fucking worry. She gets in, bro. She's driving 10 kilometers down the middle of the lane in Commercial Drive. I'm like, you need to pull over right now. I'm driving home. You can't drive.
Oh my
So this
goodness.
chick's a little wild, right? So I kick her out. She's ripping all the shit. I live in my parents' basement, right? So she gets out in the fucking yard. She's tearing all my mom's gardening shit, throwing it on the ground. And I live in, like, I know all the families who live around me. She's like, you are raping me. You're raping me. I'm just like, shut the fuck up, bro. So she takes my vape, throws it into the fucking garden. I'm just like, oh, she walks up. I'm obviously following her, make sure she's like throwing shit. And I'm filming it. I'm filming the entire thing, right? Which is like, if you see a red flag, take your phone out, start filming, right? Because you'll need this, bro. So we get to the front door, bro. My dad's room is right next to the front door. This is like 12:30, right? So she just goes to the door. She starts just like, ah. My dad is the nicest guy in the world, right? My dad comes out. There's this like drunk, insane Brazilian on the door. She's like, your son has been raping me. My dad's like, oh, well, would you like a cab? And she's like, I do not need a cab. I make over $100,000 a year. I have private driver. And then she slams the door in my dad's face. And I'm just kind of standing there like, what the fuck is going on? She gets in her car, or can't even walk.
Oh my.
Gets in her car, immediately, like anyone could, like, very loudly peels out of my driveway, which is on a very steep incline. And I'm like, holy fuck, that just made me laugh so much. I have private driver. Do you know who I am? I make $90,000 a year.
Oh
like,
my God, man.
So then she gets out and I'm just like, well, this is kind of fucked. Like, my house is destroyed. Like, my friend gave me this beautiful poster. It's like ripped on the floor. And then I'm like walking around. I love vaping, right? I'm probably one of the biggest vapors in the entire world. Probably. I think I'm in the top 1%. So then I'm just like, this is like my last vape. And then I'm just like walking like in my hands and knees with my flashlight on my garden looking for this vape. And I'm just like, you know what? Fuck this bitch. Yeah, I'd like to report a drunk driver.
Oh, yes, dude.
Dude, and so I just like fall asleep. I call it in. They're like, how do you know she was drunk? I was like, because she was fucking hammered. And she drove.
Don't ask me how and why.
Her private driver took her away.
Yeah.
So then,
I mean, dude, you did it a favor, for God's sake.
Yeah,
I mean,
well, yeah.
Saved her life. Damn.
Yeah, I mean, you feel bad being a rap, but if you come between me and my nicotine, you're fucking dead, right? So
Just
I'm like, dude, I like
chucked your vape.
Literally, like, I was like, it was in the garden. I was like, dusting off. And I was like, fuck this chick.
Yes.
So then, dude,
that was the moment.
Yeah, dude. And like, so then I like fall asleep, and then like an hour later, just 4 cops show up at my house. They're like, yeah, so you raped this lady, eh?
Oh no.
So
obviously they're gonna take.
They barge in, they take her side, and they're like, "Don't worry, she's safe." I was like, "I don't care." She's like, she's like, she's safe. She's like, they're basically telling me she has been arrested for DUI, right? But I mean, she assaulted my dog. She threw my vape in there. She smacked me, hit my vape. Like, I wouldn't, wish harm upon someone, but if you do these things, my dog, my vape, 2 very important things to me. And so they come in and they're like, they're on her side big time. They're like going through, yeah, what you blah blah. I tell them the story, and I'm like, oh, by the way, I have video of the entire thing. So the guy watched it, and he's like,
boom, right there.
Yeah.
Boom.
So videotape yourself. But the same thing for chicks. Like, dudes are grimy too, right? Like,
Oh, I mean, 100%.
dudes are probably like, I have 3 sisters, right? So it's like, yeah, dudes are grimy too. But yeah, that's my only like craziness. But the Bieber one was nice too, bro. Did you go to 12 West when Bieber was there, bro?
Justin Bieber?
Yeah, Justin Bieber like massaged me, bro.
No way.
Yeah, he gave me a little massage. Like,
when he was on tour?
No, like he must have been on tour. I don't know, but he was there. Who's the guy? Scooter? Who's his guy?
I don't know.
Oh no, that's
Scooter.
Who's his manager?
No idea.
Okay, well he was
Bieber. I don't know much about. I mean,
but this is like 2016. He's still young, right?
Okay.
So my job, Mark Dombrowski hired me to just for one night. So we're going to 12. And you know, there's like, they got VIP section.
Yeah.
And then there's the dance floor.
Yeah.
Bieber's back there, bro. So I'm the guy, this is like the wall. I'm standing here and I just need to stop people from taking photos of him. So chicks are like literally like pressing their tits on, and I'm like, so I'm so very shy. Like I'm a lot more outgoing now, but I'm like very shy. Oh, so like chicks are rubbing their tits all, and I'm just like,
just to get the Bieber, right?
Yeah. It's like, why would you do that to yourself? You know, come on.
You're someone's
I'm just some
daughter.
random guy, and you're just trying to. It was just like, yeah, I didn't like it. But anyways, they're like, the manager's like, no phone. So I just keep being like, bro, get your fucking like phone out. So I'm standing there. Bieber comes by, ripped, bro. He's out of his mind, right? He's like so hammered. He just comes up and it's like, he sees like a wall of women, and then he assumes I'm part of that wall of women. So he's just like rubbing my shoulder like this.
Oh, wow.
I was like, fuck yeah, dude. I can see why ladies like you. But it's like, at the same time, it's like, there's like those 45-year-old ladies in here, bro. Bieber was probably like 20 at this point. Like, I find that's inappropriate. Like, why are all these like old ladies fangirling over like 19-year-olds?
Why was he massaging you?
Because I think it's like, if I was a rapper, I would be like, hey, what's up? And like giving everyone daps and shit. That's kind of what he's doing. Like, it's just like chicks, and he's like, oh, here's the touch of Bieber. Here's a little touch of Bieber.
Oh, he thought you were just...
He thought I was a woman, because I'm like facing like that. Well, he was probably shocked at how muscular my shoulders were. Like,
yeah.
Like, like this.
Okay.
Like, oh, that's basically what he's doing.
And he was just absolutely
He was like
blitzed.
the Pope. Yeah, and he was fucked, yeah. So then that's happening, and then this lady, I'm just like, I have to maintain control of this, and then also in the crowd, I'm like, yeah, get your phone down, This one lady keeps coming back over and over. She's like 50, bro. I'm like, put your phone down. Manager eventually comes up. He's like, no more fucking photos. It's in her face. She's like, what? Like, a lady's never been told no, right? Guy takes her phone out, takes 2 steps back, winds up like he's fucking, you know, like Randy Johnson, whips the iPhone at her. It hits her. The corner of it hits her right here like this. She's like, let me talk to the fucking manager right now. He's like, I am the manager.
Jesus.
That was a highlight. That was one of the coolest things I've ever seen, actually. Just like the shock of like someone doing that, especially like someone who like deserved it, right?
100%.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, at this point, like, you got Bieber in the house, so you gotta...
Bieber blessed me, bro. Been blessed by Biebs.
My life. He say anything? He just fucking came and caressed you.
He was just caressing me.
Caressing.
It was nice though, bro.
Touch of an angel.
Yeah, it was one of the best caresses I've had in my life.
You're just like, who's he dating? Fucking
Baldwin.
Bella. Not Bella Hadid. Who am I talking?
Baldwin.
Baldwin. Bella. Fucking.
I don't know. Alec Baldwin's
she's
something.
a lucky woman.
Yeah. Great lady.
Awesome lady. Top notch.
Great lady.
Man, do you have any greasy stories from working in the club? I mean, I know you're a little hesitant on talking some shit. Just give me one. Just give me.
Let's have.
And this will be the last thing we talk about, because I want you to like I want you to make people realize that the club scene ain't as pure as it sounds, and
as pure as
it's not as the reason why. Another one, you crushed.
Yeah, I have ADHD. I have undiagnosed ADHD, bro. My fucking that's why I vape so much. So like my girlfriend's sister, she has Vivans. It's like ADHD medication.
Yeah,
bro.
oh yeah.
Dude, she gave me 4. I was taking them in the morning. I was just like locked in, bro. Because like normally what happens is my mind works. I'm like, oh, thinking of this, thinking of that, thinking of that. And then I'm like, so I'm working on something and I'm like, oh, this is kind of challenging. And then I like go and do something else for a little bit. It was like, no, I have to complete this job. And then I can work on the next one. It was so great.
Just dialed in.
Yeah, like I'm just very like hitting vape. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I would say, the greasiest story happened to me, to my friend. So when I was there, there was this lady who would always come up to my buddy and just try to have inappropriate contact with him. I would see them together. She would be like just touching him all the time, just like this, right? So
was he a bouncer too?
He's a bouncer too.
Okay.
So she would come in, and she's not. I'm sure she's a fine woman. She's not great looking.
Okay.
And she'd be there every weekend, right?
Okay.
She's not a fine woman. She'd be there every weekend. So she'd always just be, oh, yeah, like rubbing herself all over him. Just inappropriate behavior, right? So one time she comes up and she's like, and my friend has rejected her. Every single time she's made her predatory advances upon him. So this time, my friend's a little drunk. And so she's like, yeah, I want to go fuck you right now. I'll go S you, you know what I'm saying? So he does it. He goes down to his vehicle, goes to a construction light, does it, kicks her out of the car, goes back in the club. She's back in the club already. He gets up there, he's standing at the door in front of all the bouncers who now know exactly what has happened, right? She comes out to the door, she's talking to my buddy, hey, oh yeah. And then she's like, I'd like to introduce you to my boyfriend.
Oh my goodness.
So he's standing there, and then he's like, you know, a young guy around a bunch of bouncers. He's like, oh, hey, how's your night going, guys?
Oh, no. Oh, dude.
Is it hard standing out here all day?
Oh, dude.
Yeah. So that's like really rough, bro. Yeah, it's not.
Oh, no.
But I mean, people like to say that that's like all, like clubs are full of stuff like that, and they are. But at the same time, I mean, you have people in every profession who are doing gnarly shit like that. Like, whether it's like working in an office, like I bet more gnarly shit goes down in an office than a club, to be quite frank. More like nasty shit. Like
that. I mean, it's everywhere, but Jesus Lord, God Almighty, man. Like, that's just so... That's just scum of earth.
The fact that everyone at the front door had just heard the story about that, and then she chooses that time to be like, oh, this is my boyfriend.
Oh, no. And this poor bastard.
He's probably like, oh, I love my girlfriend. She's so great.
Oh, no. Oh, dude.
Yeah. And then I recently
heard...
this
is the shit that scares the living life out of me, man.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't.
But I mean, dude, we've both done horrible shit in our lives. Probably, I'm speaking for myself, right? But it's like, all you can do is like, I feel like there's a lot of, you feel, oh, I've done horrible shit. I'm a piece of shit. But it's like, there's still hope for change. Like, you can still, it's like on you to start being positive and spreading positivity. And I feel like when I was younger, there was this huge pressure to like not do things. Like, you can't say that. You can't say this. And it's like, I don't care what other people say about me anymore, because like, who like, how can that affect you? If I'm like walking to the store and then someone says like, you're like, your fucking neck's really long, then I'm still gonna walk to the store and complete my task, right?
I think it's just time, man. I think at some point your mind just sort of like, there's like a switch that flips off, and you're like, ah, fuck. Like,
but it takes like it takes balls to do what you do, right? Because you open yourself up to public criticism from anyone, and then you want to get big. So it's like, I noticed this with Mr. Canclean. Is like, I'm starting Mr. Canclean. All my customers are people I know. I'm like, hey, they're like, oh, thank you so much for cleaning my cans. It's, you know, and then now it's like I'm moving to the part where it's like people I don't know, and so I'm like, hey, I'm come to clean your cans. Like, what up? And then they're just like, thank you. You know, and it's like, so not only do people view you, as you get bigger with this podcast, people will view you as just like not a real human being. So you're opening yourself to criticism from people who like back in the day are like, oh, Mo was a piece of shit to me back in the day. You're opening yourself to criticism from people who don't know you, and because they don't know you, saying a comment just like, oh, I fucking hate this guy. That's meaningless, because to them, you're somebody up here. They just saw you on TikTok, right? They're just scrolling through. They're like, fuck this guy. But then it's just like, at the same time, it's like anytime I can track my mental state by how frequently I comment on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube videos, right? When I'm not doing well, I'm leaving lots of comments.
Yeah.
All right.
You could admit it. I mean, you're aware of that. You know, some people don't know, like, they'll go and type something out and be like, oh, fuck yeah, did my deed for the day. I did God's work right there. And it's like, no, dude. There's something up. You're conflicted
come
in
up
a way.
to me, bro, and be like, oh, I'm in such a big argument with this guy on Facebook. I'm like, first of all, why is another man making you feel some type of way when you're in a relationship with me? Second of all, you're putting a lot of energy into that, and like, I mean, you haven't really. The house is disgusting. Yeah,
like, you know who you sound like? I just fucking realized this. You sound like Joe from Family Guy.
Dude, someone told me that recently.
Does he not? Holy shit!
Yeah, someone told me.
That just hit me out of nowhere. I swear to God,
dude. No, what someone told me. I was too old for this. Oh, dude, I totally forget it. Fuck. It's like shh. it's dude. There's like a cartoon. Someone's like, maybe one of your viewers will be able to tell me, but it was like, fuck, dude. I had it in my head and I just totally lost it.
Dude,
But
you have the exact same voice as Joe.
I think it's because I've spent so much time in such odd places, right? Like North Van has a distinct accent, right? Like it's like people, are you from North Van? And then it's like, but we're like, I'm like North Van. Yeah. Fucking North Van, dog. Man. And like
people tell me that though sometimes, like if I meet someone new, they're like, oh, you sound really whitewashed. I'm like, well, I did grow up in North Van,
bro.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%.
Because they're like, oh, you're brown, you have earrings, you look a certain way. We totally thought you would fucking sound different. I'm like, well, yeah. I'm a product of my environment, man. I'm like, I don't know. It would be weird. It would be weird if I had like a different accent. Like, oh, yo, man, what's up, dude? It's like, okay, what front are you putting on if you sound like that from North Van, especially growing up here?
Yeah, but it takes a bit to find out like who you are too, right?
Yeah,
like,
I mean, I'm still figuring out, dude. I don't know, dude. This morning, actually, it's funny. Like you're talking about haters. Do you see that comment I sent you, Alex? The guy was like, he like passively complimented me and then dissed me at the same time. Let me read it out. This motherfucker, hold on. What did he say? He said, this podcast has so much potential, but it hasn't even cracked 10K yet. ... with the shades emoji. Like, dude.
That's positive. Though. That's positive. That was a positive comment.
But it's like, bro, and then
no, that's a positive comment.
He's a creative consultant, writer, speaker, 17 followers. Like, dude.
Yeah, no, that's a positive comment, Mo.
You're so conflicted.
That's a positive comment. That's nothing but
this podcast has so much potential.
I think he said,
but it hasn't even hit 10K.
No, he's saying like, he's saying like, he's being like, yo, you can't dunk now, but one day. That was a good comment, bro.
You think so?
But it's also like, don't even fucking read them, bro. Like, I like,
dude, this one guy, dude, we blocked him. He used to always hate. He's from Vancouver. We have mutuals.
Yeah.
So it's not like, so he's pretty ballsy for just to like go out.
Yeah.
I had a clip. I was talking about haters or whatever, and just not giving a fuck what people think and criticism and outside noise and all that. And then he commented, he's just like, I'm a hater. And it's just like, all right, man.
I mean,
like, how down?
You do need haters though, too, right? Like, I wouldn't have played basketball unless someone was fucking hating on me. I never would have even started. And I would have started, like, if someone came up to me, I went through maybe 10 years of just doing nothing, realistically. Yeah. If someone came up to me and was like, yo, you fucking suck, you'll never be anything, I would have done something. But no one did. People are like, oh, you're so, like, people always tell you to tell your kids, yeah, you're a hard worker, instead of telling them that they're smart, right? Like, you're smart. That's kind of, I was like, oh, I'm smart. I'll eventually, I'll do really well. And it's like, no, you got to work hard.
Setting you up for failure.
Yeah, and you need people to...
I can see how people fold, though, man, with the hate and the criticism. Like,
but you folded one time before in the past, but that's just experience. And now next time that happens, you're not going to fold. Like, bro, like back in the day, if I was like 17, I had a highlight tape on YouTube and I was like, oh, I'm looking nice. And someone's like, that guy fucking sucks. I fucking hate him. He fucking, like, you know, I would have been done. But it's like, you need to expose yourself to these types of like outside, like people will smash on you. Who gives a fuck? Like at the end of the day, it's like, bro, you got fucking, what you're doing now is like, you should be like, fuck yeah, dude. Dog, people are hating on me, bro. I'm in like, I have the luxury of being in the position.
Yeah, dude, there's a weird like sense of pride with the hate coming at me too now. It's like, okay, like cool. Like I'm getting to a point where people are noticing me enough to be able to hate on me, right?
Bro,
you know
it's like if no one can hate on you,
and I'm not
doing well. That means you're promoting yourself.
Yeah, and I'm not crazy at it. Like I don't have that big of a following yet, but it's like it's cool to. I mean, it's what you sign up for, man.
Yeah, and it's like
it is what it is, right?
Vancouver's a tough town to do anything, man, because people are fucking haters, bro. Like think about even just Canada in general. Like who's like somebody like Nickelback comes out, everyone's just like fuck Nickelback. Fuck, do you remember back in the day it was like, Nick, I fucking hate Nickelback.
That was Nickelback was the scapegoat. Yeah, I remember that.
Now it's like, this is what's different, the difference of Nickelback and the other shit on the radio? Nothing. Why did you choose Nickelback? And so it's like,
we just have to pick on someone to be like, oh, fuck this guy.
But that's like they're from Canada. We should be like, fuck yeah, Nickelback's from Canada. Like, fuck yeah, Avril Lavigne's from Canada. fuck yeah, the bare naked ladies are from Canada. You know what I mean? But instead,
Even Bieber at the start, dude.
Yeah.
I remember Bieber was getting so much hate. And if you were a dude
Fuck
listening to Bieber, you're like, dude, are you a fucking weirdo? What's up with you? You like,
yeah, fuck Drake.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck you guys. These are our fucking cultural exports, dog. Like, we should be like hyped on them. It's like, bro, when I was but also Canada's so different. Like growing up in Vancouver, you're like, no one's religious, no one's like this, bro. When I went to Saskatchewan, I thought the entirety of Canada was like Vancouver, North Vancouver. Dude, I get to Saskatchewan, me and my mom and dad are walking around the campus. We're just like wandering, like looking for shit. This guy comes up to me, he's like, hi, do you guys need any help finding it? I was like, get the fuck away from me. Right? Because like, who the fuck comes up to someone in Vancouver and is like, oh, do you need it? I was like, what the fuck? And they're like, you just approached me asking, like, I was like,
if I need help
like,
without asking for a favor, without wanting anything out of it? What?
Like, what?
What is
Saskatoon is awesome, bro. I love Saskatoon.
I bet.
It's
I
great.
bet.
The only reason I left was because of that, man, because my like best friend on the team unfortunately passed away due to cancer. He was like the greatest guy in the entire world, bro, like the nicest guy in the entire world. We were both rookies together, you know. Like in Vancouver, people aren't like, hey bro, how are you doing? Like we're at Boston Pizza and I just get this text on my fucking like flip phone. It's like, hey bro, how are you doing? How's your summer? I was like, what the fuck? Like, that's so nice.
Isn't that crazy, man? Like the smallest little bits of just
kindness
is like weird to us.
Yeah,
weird.
Yeah, it is weird.
Like,
and then
what?
whereas like this,
what's the catch here? What's the catch here? There's some motive behind it. It's not just out of goodness, out of someone's heart. You know, it's not just them being kind. It's crazy.
But what does a guy get out of fucking shit talking you? Your pot, like what is?
I don't get it.
Does
like
that make
I don't
you feel good for a bit,
dude.
Like it does, right? Because I do it.
I've thought about it. Like I've tried to like play devil's advocate and put myself in that guy's position.
Yeah.
And there have been times where I see some people's accounts, especially like some of these like fitness influencers and shit, where I'm like, fuck, I really want to comment something and be like, just absolutely flame this person. But how conflicted and down bad do I got to be to really put in the effort to just type it out, press send, and then possibly get a few likes from other people liking my comment? Like, bro, it's just like a different level of like something conflicted within them, man. There's some demons.
I think what it is like when you're in a bad place, you want other people to be in that bad place too. And when you're in a good place, you know, like when someone starts working out, and they're just like, oh yeah, I started fasting and I'm taking BCAAs. You should really start skipping, you know, like they get in a new program. And then you're kind of like, fuck, yeah, I know, right? But it's like they want you to be in that good place too. But when you're in a negative place all the time, you're just like, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you.
It's as simple as that, I think. It's not, there's no like science. It's not a fucking math equation. It's really just.
Yeah. And like Vancouver does like lack connection. Whereas like Saskatoon, you look at all these like, everyone's like involved in church. Everyone like has these like family. Like that to me, like we would hang out with just like in high school, we just hang out with the homies, and then it's like, you know, maybe like the cool dad is like, hey, what's up, guys? Like, oh, y'all have a beer with the boys. In Saskatoon, bro, it would like the entire family's there. And so like now my family's developing. My sisters all have kids. I have nephews. And so it's like now you have this big connection. But like in Vancouver, it's like even North Van, bro, to hang out with someone. It's like, hey, you want to hang out? It's like, yeah, I'll be there in fucking 30 minutes because I got to drive there, right? It's like, it's different, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, North Van's very sheltered too. I feel like it's like
big time sheltered.
It's like a fairy tale area from the world.
Yeah.
Like Palestine, Gaza, what's going on there? Oh my God, that's horrendous. Like they just no clue, just clueless.
But I feel it should be like that. Like, dude, there's fucking garbage all over the street. Like when I'm doing Mr. Can Clean, I just like have a garbage can. I just like, if I'm on a street, I'll pick up garbage. It's like, why are you focusing on something that, I mean, I'm not Palestinian, I'm not Jewish, but it's like, you should focus on that stuff when you're like, when your city is like popping. Like, are you involved in local politics? Probably not. Are you involved in like something's your kid's sports team? Like,
figure yourself out in your own area first.
It's like the drowning man, right? Like, it's like, oh, a guy's drowning. It's like, okay, well, if I jump in there, I'll drown too, right? So it's like, if you want to be able to rescue people, you need to be in a good place in your life. And if you're in a bad place, it's just going to be like, so we're talking about when you're doing bad. So now people are doing bad, and then they're looking at these events, and these events like are an opportunity for them to express their displeasure at the world. It's not like they're hoping to, me yelling about this is going to solve the problem. No. And then it's like, you look at these things, like COVID happened. How crazy were people about COVID? How people were crazy about Donald Trump, Tom Sandoval. People were losing their minds, but people don't even care about this. And that's another thing about haters, right? Is like, they may hate on you. They don't even care about you, bro. Like, I don't know.
I'm irrelevant to these people. I'm not doing anything to these people. I don't get it. Like,
but you are, because you're doing something. So that guy probably wants to do something too.
He wants to start a podcast,
like,
or I don't know.
Maybe even, and this is where being able to deliver a nice crisp 1-2 can come into play, because now you're not afraid to go be like, hey dog, you want to, like, would you like to do this? And then if they lip you off, yeah.
I mean, it's crazy because this person that I blogged is from here, and he's made his profile public, so it's not like he could very well run into me. It's like, all right, come with that same energy.
Yeah,
have that same energy. You know, come correct. If you're really about it, if you really are a hater like you say you are, show me you're a hater. Yeah, show me.
Yeah,
display it, buddy. I want to see it. I'm ready for it.
Yeah.
You know, we gotta wrap up because I'm gonna be late for work. We gotta do it again.
Absolutely.
We could go on and on, dude. Straight up.
Absolutely.
Dude, I appreciate you, man.
You're the man.
Thank you, boss.